Shaq is one of the most famous and skilled NBA players. He has amassed money, records, titles, and fame. But all of his fame is not because of his skills on the court, but rather due to his unfiltered opinions and criticisms of other players. Be it serious or in a funny way, Shaq has targeted other players. Having said that, these are the times Shaq disrespected NBA players. Let's start our video, shall we? 1. Charles Barkley. On one episode of Inside the NBA, a discussion between Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley escalated into a shouting confrontation that ended with O'Neal yelling, "Google me, Chuck," and pointing to his championship ring.
I got 3 finals MVP, Chuck. Google me, Chuck. Google me.
The bitter argument between the two ex-players began when Barkley said that Toronto Raptors coach Dwayne Casey owed DeMar DeRozan an apology for benching him in Game 3 of the Cavaliers series. O'Neal fiercely disagreed, citing his own disagreement with Miami Heat coach Pat Riley 10 years ago as evidence that the coach and star player did not necessarily need to get along to have success. Barkley opened by saying, "Dwayne Casey needs to repair his relationship with DeMar DeRozan." O'Neal replied, "No, he don't." Barkley said, yes he does." O'Neal replied, "No, he doesn't," before returning to his favorite refrain, the fact he has won 4 championships while Barkley did not win any. Shaq continued by saying, "Me and Pat Riley never saw eye to eye, and what happened? You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to championships. Stop babying these players. You got babied, and that's why you ain't win." Barkley replied, "I didn't have Dwight Howard and Kobe Bryant carrying me up and down the court." And then in the reply came the noteworthy moment. The heated discussion came to an end at that point when fellow panelist Kenny Smith intervened to offer his perspective. In his autobiography, O'Neal described how he and Riley nearly got into a physical fight over Riley's teaching style. 2. Jason Richardson. One of the NBA's best teammates to be around was Shaquille O'Neal. While none of us have had the opportunity to experience it, the anecdotes about his playing days give us a good idea of the type of man he was. His personality hasn't altered at all either. Shaq is entertaining in every appearance he makes on shows, in movies, on podcasts, or on the Inside the NBA program. Shaq liked to tease his teammates and pull funny pranks on them. He was and still is one of the most interesting guys to be around. Every time former players or teammates discuss Shaq
had your work.
Maybe the greatest of all
time by
sure.
They always have a funny tale to share about him. On the court, he was one of the most powerful players in NBA history. Off of it, though, he was one of the most entertaining. During the 2007 to 2008 and 2008 to 2009 seasons, Grant Hill played alongside Shaq for 2 years while he was a member of the Phoenix Suns. Additionally, he was able to relate an outrageously funny story that occurred in the locker room while he was with Shaq. He shared the details, and then all three burst into laughter during the podcast because of how it was normal for Shaq to say something like this and be absolutely hilarious about it. 3. Gordon Girich. Shaq's run-in with Jason Richardson wasn't the only instance that revealed his mischievous side while he was in Phoenix. Obviously, it's enjoyable now, and maybe it was for Shaq back then as well. But Gordon Girich's being knocked out while lying on the ground and being choked by Shaq's sleeper hold must not have been enjoyable. After Shaq had earlier brazenly and playfully asked Grant Hill to recount the incident, Grant Hill did it once again. Hill revealed all the details. Although the Croatian international was a strong shooter, he rarely passed the ball inside to Shaq. Girich would frequently glance Shaq off and take a shot, despite Shaq being the man who dominated the paint. They used to fight frequently for this reason, and Girich even insulted Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq then carried out his plan of action. Obviously, now he must remember it and laugh about it all, but it obviously must have not been pleasant then. But that's Shaq for you. 4. Penny Hardaway. Early in his career, Shaquille O'Neal wanted to push for a dominant position on every team he was a part of. For the team to be successful, in Shaq's opinion, he had to be the team's leader. This was a key factor in his conflict with the Orlando Magic management. At the time, Penny Hardaway's $6,655,000 salary in 1996-97 at Orlando and Shaq's lack of recognition for his contributions to the team's success were 2 of Shaq's biggest pet peeves. During the 1996-97 season, the Big Aristotle expected a $105 million deal to remain in Orlando. Therefore, he was unable to decline Jerry West's offer of a record-breaking $120 million deal. Shaq has expressed regret for clashing with Hardaway for unimportant reasons in the past. 27 years after their falling out, the big fella decided to express his affection for his former teammate Hardaway. The nasty beef between him and Penny Hardaway seems to have been resolved, as Diesel showered praise for his former teammate on social media when he posted an edit of Penny on his Instagram story with the caption, "Penny Hardaway Hardaway is all-time bruh. Shaquille O'Neal regrets fighting over petty subjects and titles with Penny Hardaway, which might have cost him the 1995 NBA championship. He had let his ego stand in the way of playing the game with true teamwork. Shaq addressed this on the Full Send podcast and said, "Moving on, last, but certainly not the least." 5. Dwight Howard. Shaquille O'Neal is best known for his conflict with Kobe Bryant, a former teammate. When they were playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, it persisted, but it quickly faded after they parted ways. We now come to Dwight Howard. O'Neal has a long history of attacking Howard, despite the fact that they were never teammates. In one instance, O'Neal minimized Howard's 38 points, 25 rebounds, and 9 assists during a Taiwan-based professional basketball match. On his podcast, O'Neal said the performance was no big deal. He's supposed to have 30 points playing against dudes 5'8", Shaquille O'Neal said, regarding Dwight Howard's numbers in Taiwan. "This league reminds me of the Lifetime Fitness League every Saturday when I go work out on Saturday." The two big guys have been at odds ever since Howard grabbed the name Superman, which O'Neal had previously used for himself. Given all this, Howard was forced to answer. At another time, in order to disrespect Dwight, he completely ignored the question about him. 6. Kobe Bryant. Even though Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal are regarded as one of the greatest duos in league history and have won 3 straight titles together, their well-known rivalry is just as humiliating as their remarkable on-court achievements. The 1998-1999 season was the first indication that Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal's relationship would not be smooth. Shaq slapped Kobe during a pickup game at the team's practice facility. According to Roland Lazenby's book, The Show, it was undoubtedly the start of the pair's turbulent relationship, even if it's probably not big enough to be called the slap heard around the world. The rivalry between Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant peaked during the 2000-2001 season. It all began when Shaq arrived at training camp out of shape and still reliving his first championship victory. On the other hand, Bryant arrived to camp in top physical condition, eager to show everyone that he could be the team's primary scorer. Shaq struggled to return to his MVP form, but Kobe began the season as one of the league's leading scorers. In addition, the squad was not playing with the same level of dominance on the court as it had the season before. In a 2001 report, Shaq expressed his thoughts on who he thought was the team's alpha dog. "When it was clear that everything went through me, the outcome of it was a record of 67-15, playing with enthusiasm, the city jumping up and down in a parade. And now we're 23-11. You figure it out. I don't know why anybody else would want to change, other than selfish reasons." The same report had Kobe's take on the issue. It was a different year, and the roster had undergone some changes. And Kobe said, "Things change, things evolve, and you just have to grow with that change." In the midst of Kobe trying to further establish himself as the team's go-to superstar, Shaq would provide one of the more entertaining, selfish quotes of the season. "If the big dog ain't me, then the house won't get guarded. Period." Finally, shortly after Shaquille O'Neal was traded from the Los Angeles Lakers to the Miami Heat in the summer of 2004, the NBA did all of its fans a favor by scheduling the Lakers to play the Heat on Christmas Day. The game itself was more or less uneventful. Kobe and Shaq did not talk or embrace before the game, but rather bumped fists in acknowledgement. The Heat would defeat the Lakers in overtime, 104-102. And that's it for this video. Please click the like and subscribe buttons down below if you found this interesting. To make sure you don't miss any uploads, tap the bell icon. Share the video and provide all of your feedback in the comments section. See you in the next one.